Welcome back to the Anorak Entertainment Podcast, everybody. I am your host, Martino, and we are going to talk about not a lot of news today because it's been very, very slow on that front, but we are going to talk about some things, and pretty excited to get into all of that here in just a bit. So yeah, let's have some fun today. I think the big story today is we got Miles Teller replacing Armie Hammer in the Godfather series, The Offer. So that should be very, very interesting, and we'll kind of get into the implications of that just a little bit here. But yeah, guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. And of course, I am not here alone today. I do have my co-host with me, Miss Samee Ramirez, who will be reading the news. That's not Sammy. We're on screen. Hi, Sammy. How are you?
Hi. Doing good. Happy to be here as always.
Good. Glad to have you here for sure. And should be a fun day. So, I'll tell you what I watched today. Fun little movie called Empire of the Sun. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you have not.
I have heard of that, yes.
Old Spielberg movie. This is, right. I think before E.T. maybe. If I had to put up my... I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it might have been like a little bit before E.T. But yeah, I have never seen this movie. This is one of those old Spielberg movies that I've never watched. I say fun little movie, and people who've seen it know it's not a fun little movie. It's actually quite a it's quite a stretch. Right. It's quite a stretch of a movie, and it's quite a some of it's pretty depressing from time to time, but it's really good. Like, John Williams has a, pretty amazing score in it, so I was happy to hear that. It also, I mean, this, young Christian Bale is our lead character, this little boy who gets separated from his family and is, like, trying to, like, find them this whole time, and ends up, like, becoming a part of this war with the Japanese. It's crazy, but it's good. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's a solid 2.5 hours. If you like old Spielberg movies, I recommend watching this one. It seems to be like one of the forgotten, you know what I mean, like classics that like people don't talk about.
Who's the lead in that again?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
He's the kid. Yeah, he's the young boy, and yeah, Ben Stiller's in that as well.
Nice.
Yeah, he's in there he's got kind of a small role, but he's actually funny in his moments that he's in. Yeah, I didn't realize how much older he was than Christian Bale before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Christian Bale's like a child, and Ben Stiller is like an adult in this movie, but when we see him, so I was like, oh wow, he's like older than Christian Bale by that much. It's crazy, but right. At least probably 10 years, I would say, of a difference, maybe 9, I don't know, somewhere in that range. But like, it's crazy to me because young Christian Bale is just as good as old Christian Bale. Like, I never knew he was that good of a child actor.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Have you never seen Newsies? I mean, have you never seen Newsies?
No, I haven't. It's on Disney Plus. I've been wanting to watch it.
It's on Disney Plus. It's genuinely really good.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the stage musical. I've seen it performed live, and there's a pro shot version as well that if you love the movie, you should watch. But it's incredible. He's incredible in it. There's a great behind the scenes feature on that, as well as on Disney Plus. That's just in the extra section of Newsies, and it's for like the way they talk. Everybody in the cast talks about him. They're like, oh yeah, that Christian's incredible. They're like, he's doing like his own thing. Like everybody else is working really hard, but Christian's doing like 20 times as much as everybody else is, and it's insane. And like Kenny Ortega, the director's like, this kid is a little star just by the way how professional he is and the way he acts and the way he works in scenes. It's remarkable. Newsies is incredible. Like genuinely, it's a little dated, I'm not gonna lie. It's very much like a 90s movie, but it's incredible.
Well, let me ask you,
if that doesn't matter to you, then you're gonna love it, I think.
Well, let me ask you,
it is a musical.
Does he sing well in Newsies as well also?
He's all right. It's not the best singing. He does not have, that's the one thing Newsies, like the dancing is incredible, the acting is incredible, the singing is very much like these are all 12 to 17-year-old boys who are actors first kind of voices. Like they can sing, but they're not great singers. Like, I mean, when you watch the Broadway version, it's night and day.
Right.
Well, it's not Broadway level at all.
Well, the reason I asked is
it's kind of La La Land singing. You know what I mean? I'd kind of put it on that level.
Okay. I mean,
they can, but it's not amazing.
The reason I asked is because I even added this to my playlist today, because John Williams has a score in the movie. I guess it'd be like the main score from the Empire of the Sun, and it's a little more operatic, a little bit more like Duel of the Fates. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, Christian Bale's a part of a choir that's singing that song. And like he's like doing like the lead part in that, but it's supposed to be the kid doing the lead part. But like I kind of wondered, is it actually Christian Bale doing it? Because on the soundtrack, it's John Williams. I mean, it's credited, just John Williams. Right. So I was wondering if Christian Bale was actually doing the singing on it, because like if he was, really impressive for a young boy of his age.
It could have been,
but I figured that it was just a choir that John Williams brought in to do. But maybe it was, I don't know. But if he wasn't that good in Newsies, then maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, he was all right. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that was correct, that was actually him singing. I kind of want to look it up. Because it might be true.
It cracks me up because his accent in the movie, he's still got that it's Christian Bale. It still sounds like him because he's got that like he does this thing with his like tongue when he talks. Like I tried to do like a Christian Bale like accent here, or think of something to say outside of Oh Good For You. It was dubbed.
It was dubbed.
Okay.
This was before Newsies, so I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
So to be fair, because it's saying, when I googled it, it's saying that the actor said he can't sing at all, and so he wanted his voice to be dubbed. Yeah.
Well, then there you go. That's good to know. Because I was curious, because it's like incredible if it was again, but it's I mean, it's a really good score. I had to add it to the playlist. So like, this has got to be like the most overlooked John Williams score ever. It's so good in this movie. And yeah, there was just like Spielberg-y moments, that were they just felt big and grand in the movie. It's really good. I recommend it highly. It's amazing for sure. It's overlooked for sure. It's a good solid. It's a long movie. Don't get me wrong. Like it's a solid 2.5 hour flick. But if you like Spielberg movies, I mean, it belongs with the best. Because it's just that good. I mean, it's not Jaws or Jurassic Park or E.T., but it's still good. It's still great. It just seems to have been like forgotten over the years or something, because nobody really talks about it. They talk about Schindler's List like all the time, people, but they don't talk about this one. It's like, come on, like Schindler's List is great as well. Don't get me wrong, but like, how do you not talk about this? Because this movie had some just, again, incredible things, very well directed. And I don't think anybody could have done it but Spielberg, to be honest, the way that he did it, and just touched on so many like great moments. Like it was such a packed story, you know what I mean? But in a good way. It just felt like it was packed full of incredible things. And I thought about watching after that, because it's the other Spielberg movie I haven't seen, is The Color Purple, which
I have seen The Color Purple.
How was that?
I loved it. It's incredible.
I should watch it then.
It's really great. You should watch it. I've also read the book. I read it in my senior year of high school in my English literature class, and I loved it. And then we immediately watched the movie after. But I've seen it also like on my own, not in class.
Gotcha.
It's oh my god, it's incredible.
Yeah. I should check it out then. I'll take your word for it. I mean, it's another one of those like highly rated.
It's one where
it's
one of It's one of the ones where it's hard to watch at times for sure. Like it's a very heavy subject matter. There's a lot of heavy scenes. It is very hard to watch, but it's incredible though. Same Schindler's List type of way.
Right. And Empire of the Sun, I felt the same way about that. There were moments that were definitely tough to watch. But it was like maybe that's why those three movies seem to, or I don't know, like Schindler's List gets talked about a lot, but maybe like Color Purple and Empire of the Sun, I mean, as highly rated as they are, they're just never talked about, when you go down the list. Yeah. It is weird because they came out in that time period when Spielberg was making,
and I mean, Whoopi Goldberg should have won an Oscar for that movie. I mean, Ghost is great. She's great in it, but like She is phenomenal. Oprah Winfrey as well. They're the two main standouts.
Yeah.
They're arguably also the two main characters, but they're doing everything. You can tell that like they fully understand the situation that these characters are in. Like they are just 100% in it, and they know, and they're doing it so truthfully and honestly. It is, they are incredible.
Yeah.
Like for that alone, I think it's worth the watch.
Yeah, it cracks me up
so
when
much
I'm
more though too.
It cracks me up when I'm going down like the cast list and I see Oprah Winfrey. It's like I always forget Oprah Winfrey was an actress at one point in time. Like I really.
This is maybe her best role though. This is maybe her best role.
Yeah.
Like she is genuine in this movie. This is like an actual like dramatic, legit actress performance. You know.
Mm-hmm. I was going through the bad reviews of it, and I was trying to find like why don't people talk about this, you know, as much as, you know, maybe they should. Not that it has many bad reviews.
Or Empire of the Sun.
Color Purple. You know, because I was on the fence. I don't know why. I know it's like highly rated, and most people that see it love it. It's just
it's a beloved book too. The book is it's a classic piece of literature.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the bad reviews. I mean, the consensus I was getting on it. Not that there are many bad ones. It's mostly good ones, but the bad ones that are there, I mean, seems to be the consensus is that the story's not authentic and that it just feels fake or something like that and fabricated. So that's weird. But I don't know. I'll watch it. And give it a fair shot.
I'm trying to think of what they might mean by that.
I don't know. They're idiots.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I genuinely am like the color purple being ungenuine, not realistic.
I don't know. It's got like an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, so like it's not that you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like that's a little yikes if you're gonna look at that and be like, oh, things like that never happen. Like, oh, you might have to leave your house a little more often than you do.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just like right. It's one of those things where it's like when you put it into perspective, like every movie has a collection of bad reviews out there, so it's like. Right. It's not like it's that just
seems to be an odd criticism to me.
Yeah.
You know.
I was just trying to figure out if there was a good reason as to why it wasn't as talked about as, you know, as high as it's rated, and seeing as how it's a Spielberg movie from his time period, like the best time period that he's ever had. His peak, I guess, you know, it's like, it's just strange to me that one and Empire of the Sun don't get talked about a lot, you know, and same with like Duel and Sugarland Express for him, because like everybody thinks Jaws is the first one for whatever reason. You ask anybody, they go, oh yeah, Jaws is Spielberg's first movie.
Spielberg didn't exist until Jaws.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Duel and Sugarland Express are phenomenal movies. I even put Duel over E.T. Like, I love Duel that much. Like, it's that much fun to watch for me, and I would watch it more. E.T., I respect it. I think it's a perfectly well-made movie, but, you know, so is Duel, and I just like Duel a little bit more. You know, I think that he's Jesus. There's, like, peak Spielberg, you know what I mean? And it's like, you don't get better than peak Spielberg. And Empire of the Sun was more proof of that to me. It was like, this just... Yeah, I don't know why this is one that doesn't get talked about as much, you know, because there's so much great in there, you know. But if everybody talks about Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List, which are also phenomenal movies, but I don't get it. I thought about watching Saving Private Ryan again today too, and just didn't get around to it. It's like a 3-hour flick, so you got to have the time, you know, for Saving Private Ryan, but. It's great. I love it. I would watch it like quite a few times. You know who's really good in that one is Phoebe's brother. God, what's his Giovanni Ribisi. He's so good in Saving Private Ryan. Like, he probably has my favorite line in that movie, where they're talking about they were talking about like how they have a hard time sleeping because of, you know, obviously they're at war, they're soldiers, you know, they've seen a lot of shit. So they have that whole scene there where they're talking about that. And Giovanni Ribisi pulls out the great line of, you know, the trick to going to sleep is trying to stay awake, you know, and then he said, or something like that. It was just great. And then the trick to stay awake is trying to go to sleep. He says something along those lines. It's really like, it resonated with me every time I see it for some reason. That's the one line that stands out for whatever reason. That and the great when they finally do find Private Ryan, when him and Tom Hanks have that whole discussion, and like they just have this like laugh together that like lasts for about a good 5 minutes. That's one of my favorite moments too. It's just Saving Private Ryan is a gem. Yeah, I don't know. It's not Jaws or Jurassic or, you know, but it's still great. It's still, last great Spielberg was probably Saving Private Ryan, in my opinion. I don't know, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Although,
I'm trying to think. Yeah. Sorry, you got me at a bad angle.
No, you're good.
Just thinking. My thinking face.
You know that actor,
I mean, yeah.
DJ Caruso? You know what I'm talking about when I say that? I think his name is DJ Caruso.
No.
Let me think of, you'll know when I say it. CSI Miami. He was the redheaded guy in there. You know CSI Miami? I never watched it a lot when I was younger or anything, but
maybe if I saw a picture, I don't know.
Well, the angle you were at, because he does
not
that,
off the top of my head.
This actor, for whatever reason, yeah, I think it's David Caruso. Maybe is his name. David Caruso, I think, is the name. DJ Caruso is the guy that directed Disturbia. David Caruso is the actor in CSI Miami, but he used to. Every time he's like looking at a body or something in that show, like a dead body, he's just like at the crime scene.
Right.
And my grandparents always called him Crooked Neck. They would have that show on every night, and they would you know, call him Crooked Neck. So you reminded me of Crooked Neck there for a second.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, David Caruso. I think that's the guy's name. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I do that a lot
feel
too,
like
though.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a, you know,
it's comfortable.
You gotta crack the neck sometimes.
Yeah, they don't. My grandparents didn't understand. It's comfortable sometimes to do that. You know,
it is. It makes it more comfortable just to kind of like switch the position, because it's kind of like your muscles need to be. Yeah. Your muscles need to move a little bit. Yeah. So now your muscles are working in a different way than they were when you were like this. Yeah. And sometimes that feels better. Yeah. And that's it.
Crooked Neck.
Called Comfortable Crooked Neck.
It's called
Learn it, love it.
David Caruso.
It's called the David Caruso. Exactly.
He really did though. They're not wrong though. Anytime he would like go up to a crime scene,
right.
It was like a gimmick almost, you know, to his acting. It was almost like gimmicky, you know. Just got to that point. Nice. He overdid it. Yeah.
Now that reminded me of, I know we've talked about, I don't remember if you said you've seen it or not, but the BBC Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch. Have you seen it? Have we talked about this?
Always wanted to, because I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
I've been thinking of doing a rewatch because I've been thinking about, so the fandom around the show was like kind of insane. And I've just kind of been thinking about it recently because it's totally dead now. Like the actors and the creators and everyone have been like, maybe we'll do a season 5. We don't know. It's on hiatus technically right now. Maybe we'll come back. But like, we all know it's never coming back. Right. Like, sorry to break it to you if you thought it was coming back. It's not. Yeah. But the fandom around it was just so interesting to me that if people were obsessed with this show, and the main thing was the John Locke of it all. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do you remember any of this?
No, but
people.
Well, yeah, like, I remember the trend because I was working at FYE at the time that it was a big deal. So like we sold Sherlock merch all the time. So that's the kind of stuff everybody would ask about, you know, because it was a big deal at the time. Yeah. Who was in that with him?
Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman. He was Watson.
Guy shows up everywhere anymore. Martin Freeman, I swear. I know. He's everywhere.
He's a pop-in kind of person now.
You can't watch something without Martin Freeman being in it, I feel like.
It's true. He's just in the zeitgeist so much. Yeah. But it's just so interesting to me because that show was so beloved and then it just wasn't anymore. And that's and I think a lot of it has to do with it's the John Locke of it all, that people wanted them to be together so bad, and that was such a big part of the fan base. Was like, that was a thing, like that divided the fans. There was like the people who were on Team John Locke and anti-Team John Locke, and that divided people, and that was the thing. And then when it didn't happen, it just everybody gave up then, because like the antis couldn't complain or couldn't be excited about it, because the show was also like technically just kind of drifted away and wasn't that good anymore, and the people who wanted to happen were just disappointed and enraged. that I don't has that happened? Like I don't know if that's happened before. Like that's I mean, I think about like How I Met Your Mother finale maybe because of how, you know, that show ended. It really divided a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's been on my mind recently. I kind of want to do a rewatch.
Kim's Convenience.
Am I? Yeah.
That happened with Kim's Convenience.
Oh, really?
Because they just pulled that.
What's that show?
Yeah. Have you not seen that?
I haven't.
No. Okay. You never heard of it?
No.
Oh, wow. It's a big deal.
Pat's Convenience?
Kim's Convenience, not Pat's
Kim's
Convenience.
Yeah.
Kim's Convenience is a big deal. That's where they got the Shang-Chi kid. He was from that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was gonna put a story in today about him talking crap about that, but I was like, I don't know if that any of us watch Kim's Convenience to be able to speak on it. But no, it's a very, very popular show. I guess you can find it on Netflix, and I haven't watched it myself. But they pulled it recently. They just pulled the plug like out of nowhere. The writers said, "Yeah, you know what? We want to go do something else," and then they just like didn't do another season. And so like this just happened not that long ago. So like people are like really outraged about this right now in the moment, including the Shang-Chi kid. Who's like he's outraged. He did a whole thing about like he's mad. I mean they should have contracted the writers so they can't say, hey, we're gonna go do something else, you know what I mean? Because it's popular enough that it was gonna stay on the air. It has nothing to do with the ratings. Like the ratings are great. It's just that the writers don't want to do it anymore. They're like and they left it with a cliffhanger apparently, so that's wonderful. Yeah.
See, at least the last season of Sherlock that we got did end at a quite concluding point. Like if they did, that's why everybody was like, oh, so they're not coming back then, because it ended in a very natural point. What's also really interesting is, do you know like the backstory of fans of Sherlock Holmes is also so interesting, because so when they were written like serialized in newspapers and stuff back in 1800s whatever in the UK, and so they would be written like weekly kind of in the newspaper, and new stories would be printed. And eventually Arthur Conan Doyle, the author, just was like, I'm kind of done with this, like I'm moving on. And so he kills off Sherlock Holmes in his final story, and the people are so outraged that there's stories of people like standing outside of his home in like groups of people protesting outside of his home, being like, Sherlock isn't dead, we want more Sherlock. And so eventually, and it worked, and then eventually he wrote The Return of Sherlock Holmes and kept it going just kind of for forever until he died. And it's still in our zeitgeist today, and it still keeps going. So it's kind of fascinating that, you know, the fans of Sherlock Holmes have always held this kind of, and not entitlement, I guess, but I guess kind of entitlement of like wanting a very certain thing out of that story and character, and like fighting for it and fighting each other and the author for it. It's fascinating to me. It's a you know, deep dive into a fandom discussion.
I'm still fascinated that the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock is still going to be going on. Like,
I know,
that's
right?
crazy to me that there's actually a third movie, coming. Like, it's like, didn't we forget about that? I like the Guy Ritchie ones. I might have been in the rare few. I know, they weren't
bad. I didn't hate them.
Right, I might be in the rare few, but I respect Guy Ritchie as a filmmaker so much, apparently, that I managed to even enjoy those movies.
His style of film... His style of filmmaking worked for that story.
I think so.
Like he made it work.
I think so. Yeah, I think that like I enjoyed the fact that like he incorporated like a lot of action into it. You know what I mean? Like he, I thought that was like a real good appeal, because like before like the, you know, newer iterations, that wasn't Sherlock Holmes. You know what I mean? Like the Sherlock Holmes, like it might have been in stories, but I'm talking like film. That's that's exactly what I mean. It's like in film before Guy Ritchie, we didn't really have like that action incorporated into it, and so I feel like Guy Ritchie incorporated.
They were all very
really
like
smart.
Detective kind of.
Exactly,
because before that they were all kind of mystery dramas, you know, kind of Agatha Christie level. Not really big action.
Right, and I feel like it kicked off a whole thing because he did incorporate the action. It just made it.
It works perfectly.
Yeah, and
that's the perfect story to add a little shot of, you know, violence and action, and perfect.
Well, it added a whole new element to the character, because the, you know, the way that Downey's was, you know, was the action was very calculated. He was thinking about what the bad guy was going to do even before he did it.
100%.
And I thought that was just awesome. And Robert Downey Jr. nails the role too. That's the other thing. He really does a good job. No disrespect to Benedict Cumberbatch, but I mean,
you have to watch it. Genuinely, like I've been thinking about about rewatching it. Maybe we should watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's wild. It's incredible. And it's quite short. Like, I could probably get through it in like a day or two.
Yeah. Is that why Stark and Strange had so many problems in the MCU together? Did they hate each other because they were
both two Sherlocks?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why people. There was a whole thing.
Was there?
There's a whole thing. People were like, well, there's a whole thing of people being like, what a missed ass opportunity for one of them to not say no shit Sherlock to the other, because that was like, the perfect moment. When else was that gonna happen?
Yeah.
That was the big thing. I thought that would have been the perfect little drop hint. It would have fit with both of their characters. Either of them could have said it and it would have worked. It would have been small. People who didn't know wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect. It's a big missed opportunity.
There's a lot of moments they could have done that too. Honestly, there were a lot of parts where
there were so many opportunities.
Yeah. That is interesting.
So many opportunities.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't realize it at the time. You know what I mean? Like,
no, they had to. The actors nonetheless would have had to.
That's true.
There were set pictures of them like having lunch together. You don't think this was ever brought up?
Oh, maybe it had to be, probably.
They never talked. They both loved playing Sherlock Holmes. You don't think either of them talked about it to the other? Come on.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I think I don't know. Strange had the douchebag line, and that was good.
Right.
I like douchebag. That was good. But no.
So maybe Downey could throw it back with the no shit Sherlock.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, missed opportunity for sure.
That's what I'm mad about.
Yeah.
That they missed that opportunity.
Yeah. For sure. Did you read about this? I'm not sure. Like, I didn't put it in the news or anything because I'm not too privy about it. And it's just like, we kind of discussed it already, but it's just like, it seems to be becoming more of a reality. The Bond or the Amazon MGM deal or whatever with Bond.
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just seems to be like it's happening, I guess, or whatever. Like, MGM is or Amazon's gonna be acquiring MGM, and they're gonna have the Bond library on there. But
nice.
Yeah, did I ever talk to you about On Her Majesty's Secret Service? That was a movie I was thinking about watching today, because like that movie, my God, it's one of the most, like, I swear, nobody. Speaking of Spielberg movies, nobody talks about. Bond movies, nobody talks about. Is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Nobody
Which Bond is that?
This. I guess it'd be number 6. Oh, you mean the actor?
Yeah, the actor.
George Lazenby. It's the only one he ever did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, George
That
Lazenby.
makes sense. Okay.
I guess that's why nobody talks about it, but it happens to be phenomenal. First of all, it's like, it almost feels more like an art house film than a Bond movie. Which maybe that's another reason people don't like it or whatever. Like, there's parts about it that are just so, like, artsy. Like, they definitely take, like, a lot of artistic liberties. And, like, Lazenby is such a good Bond. That's the other thing I love about it. Like, he plays such a great Bond that, like, he should have had more. The only reason he didn't have more is because at the time he was so shit on, by everybody. But now it happens to have become one of the higher rated Bond movies, if you look in terms of like ratings. But the problem is it's not popular, I guess. You know what I mean? It's not like the popular Bond. But it's the ending too is tragic, because Bond gets married and his wife dies at the end. So it's like, it's one of the most tragic endings to a Bond movie too, because of that. So it's interesting. I was thinking about watching it again
walked
today,
so Casino Royale could run.
True.
That movie walked, because I'm like, that sounds very Casino Royale, because that's probably my favorite Bond movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, it also has a very tragic ending.
Yeah.
A similar situation happens, you know?
I have another theory too. It had nothing to do with Bond, but speaking of Martin Freeman, because we were talking about Sherlock, another theory I have in life. Martin Freeman walked so John Krasinski could run, because Martin Freeman was the original Jim in The Office.
Exactly.
So without am I saying that right? You're more Shakespearean than I am. Without is that okay?
Without okay. Without is like without you.
Oh, so without me? Yeah. So if I say without
without Krasinski, or without Freeman, Krasinski shall not hath run as far as he hath. I don't know.
It's turning into who's on first.
I know.
Without John Krasinski. Without Martin Freeman, John Krasinski would not be here right now, I feel like.
Would not.
Because, that character wouldn't have existed. And I don't even think his name was Jim. I think it was like Joe in the UK one. But
it was something like...
It was the placeholder of that character, though, before John Krasinski came in to play Jim Halpert, you know.
Oh, man, it exists in my brain. I'm trying to remember.
It's not Jim. It's something else.
I know Jim and David Brent, right?
Is it David?
David Brent, I think, is the Michael Scott. Oh, Jim.
Yeah.
I know Jim and Pam's UK alternative.
Yeah.
Because I have seen parts of the UK office.
Yeah.
God, it exists in my brain. It's really bothering me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
David Brent, though, I'm pretty sure is Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Is the UK Michael Scott. Anyway.
It doesn't, but I guess the point is, if Martin Freeman wants to take a lot of jobs, then have at it, because I am so happy we have John Krasinski. Therefore, we have A Quiet Place.
He wants to direct some horror movies? Go at it. Feel free.
Yeah. I want to see that Martin Freeman directed horror film.
Please.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll be there day one.
Yeah. Yeah. Bilbo Baggins directed horror film. That'd be wonderful.
Would love that. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Great Bilbo, by the way. Like, I don't know if anybody gives Martin Freeman enough credit on his Bilbo, because
I think that's the one thing The Hobbit has. They're like, everyone's like, Martin Freeman, great casting, was incredible.
It was.
However,
it was
that's kind of everyone's thing.
Yeah, I think people are so blocked by their opinions in the movie that they don't give Freeman enough credit.
It gets lost,
they don't talk about him, and he's actually stellar in those movies. He was perfect for Bilbo. Like I bought him. Like, you know what I mean? It was like it was almost like Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness. It was that good. It was that good of a casting, you know.
You're like, oh, for sure, that's the same person, just a few years younger, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was awesome, and he was entertaining to watch in the movies. Anytime Bilbo was on the screen, it was the most interesting part, you know, because he carried him, I think, in a lot of ways. But nobody talks about that. But I mean, some of the doors were really good too. Don't get me wrong. Like, there were a couple those doors that were incredible in there too. The one
I liked the one. What's his name? I think Keeley is who I'm thinking of.
Keeley's great.
The dwarf's name.
Keeley.
Not the one that falls in love with the elf, right? Is it an elf?
Yes.
The one that has a love story.
Yes.
I liked that one.
Evangeline Lilly's character.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I liked that one.
She was good too.
That one's the one that stood out in my mind.
Yeah, she was good in those movies too. Well, you know, to me, like, the second one was the best one of those three. Like, that.
Oh, 100%.
The second movie was great.
100%.
It was great. Yeah.
It literally, like, the Hobbit movies went like level 1 and then went to level like 15 and then just went back down to like
0
level
almost.
1, 0. Honestly, it literally, like, it peaked and then it went all the way down.
Yeah. It's
100%.
It's a watchable trilogy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's watchable, and it's good to watch before Lord of the Rings. Like, I would still tell people you can watch it before Lord of the Rings or after, or whatever you want to do. Like, you can watch it with it. It's definitely, it expands on it, but it expands a little too much. That's the problem with The Hobbit, because if you've read the book,
probably be like, you know what? I'd probably do like a 2 and 2 kind of situation.
Yeah.
Watch The Hobbit 1, 2, and then watch 3, but then immediately follow it with Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
And then watch the other 2 the next, the 2 and 2 Towers and Return of the King the next day. That's how you should be doing your rewatches.
Yeah.
In that order. Because, like, yes, you can just watch The Hobbit, but the last one just, like, leaves kind of a bad taste in your mouth, you know? It doesn't feel quite great, you know?
It's not Return
But then
of the
just
King,
go
that's
right
for sure.
in. Exactly. But then if you just go straight in to Fellowship after it, then it's like, oh, who cares?
Yeah.
We're with Frodo now. I don't care.
None of the 3 are like bad movies in terms of like how they're filmed or the hard work that goes into it.
100%.
The problem with them is because that was another one of my favorite books as a kid was The Hobbit. That's the problem, is the fact that I know that book very well, and I know that they overexpanded. You know what I mean? I know that they overdid it. Like, yeah, Guillermo del Toro was supposed to direct those, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was.
That would've been cool.
He was signed on, and then Peter Jackson came on, and he said, "Let's make this a trilogy." You know, because I did that prior, and that worked, and it's like, it doesn't need to be a trilogy. It could have been 2 movies. That would have
been 2, exactly.
Especially with the runtime of them, you didn't need that.
Exactly. The first 2 movies could have been put into one movie. Have the ending of the second one be the end of the first one, and then just make the second one better of everything from the third one.
Yeah.
Done. Easy.
I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, I'd rather have more than less. You know what I mean? Because they covered the whole book.
I'd rather quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I know. I'd really just have, for me, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I'd rather have two great movies than like two mediocre, like one mediocre one pretty good one, and then one really bad one.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. It was like, to me, it's yeah, no, I get you. Typically, that would be my philosophy, but I think in the case of The Hobbit, because they actually did end up covering the entire book, you know what I mean? They still managed to do that.
Right,
it's on screen. I get to see my live-action adaptation of that. Again, the problem is too much, unfortunately, but, you know, at least I got the book on screen, you know, like, at least that happened. But it just, yeah, I don't know. I could think of worse movies to watch at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're not awful. They're fine. The second one's great. The second one's great. The first one is fine. The third one is okay. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's
pretty meh.
First one's good. Second one's great. Third one's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's well filmed. I'll at least give it that. It's well filmed and it has some epic moments. It just doesn't feel like a finale to a trilogy. You know what I mean? Like a great, like when you're coming off Return of the King, you have like a
Academy Award winner for Best Picture.
Right.
Return of the King.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in a 6-movie franchise, for only one of them to be as bad as it was.
You're not wrong.
You know, it's like, I feel like every time you do a 6-movie, 7-movie franchise, one of them's gonna not be good. It's just a fact. Like, there's gonna be one that, you know, people just don't gravitate toward as much. Always happens. It never, without fail, there's always the one or two, you know, that people don't enjoy, and like when you try to do so many. But yeah, I agree. I think that's the only one. I think it's called Battle of the Five Armies, right? That third one, that third Hobbit movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I think that's the only.
Should have been called There and Back Again. Should have been called There and Back Again.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
It should have been, the first one should have been An Unexpected Journey, and the second one should have been There and Back Again.
Yeah,
and that should have been it.
That was an interesting change of title, because if I'm not mistaken, it was called There and Back Again when it first got announced that they were doing the trilogy, and then they changed it for whatever reason. Don't ask me why. But I think that's like, because
somewhere on a spreadsheet it said titles with battle and army in 5 in it make more money than movies with the words There and Back Again in it. Yes, that's why it changed. You're correct. But I'm sure they wanted it to be epic too. They wanted it to be like a Return of the King level title. You know what I mean? Oh, they tried.
They failed miserably on that front.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a watchable movie.
I see the attempt, but it failed.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's a watchable movie. It's a perfectly watchable movie. I think of all 6, that's the only one that has a rotten score, if I'm not mistaken, though, on Rotten Tomatoes of all 6.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like a 53 or something along those lines. It's not looking too good. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of movies with rotten scores I enjoy. I was kind of thinking about that today, because I was like going through like my Voodoo collection, and I'm looking at some of them with rotten scores, and I'm like, I actually enjoy a couple of these. You know?
Oh,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Always happens. Yeah. What was the one I was looking at today? I was thinking about had a rotten Hook. Hook has a rotten score, and it's a great flick. It's a wonderful flick.
That's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. That's one of my favorite movies ever. Yeah. And I know. I can't believe it.
I also hold
I was shook when I found that out.
Right. I also hold that with like classic Spielberg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And the other one, Equalizer. I watched that the other day. Rotten score for whatever reason. I think Equalizer's great. Most people I talk to think Equalizer's great. It kind of baffles me that it actually has a rotten score, because it's like, it's a movie.
What is that, like 50 or something percent? I can't imagine it being that low.
I think the first one's like 53, and then the second one is like 46, and I enjoy them both. In fact, strangely enough, I know I'm in the minority here, and that's cool, but I actually like the second one a little bit more than the first Equalizer. I think it's really good movie. Pedro Pascal's the villain. That's probably why I liked it as much as I did. In the second movie, yeah, he's good. Well, the first movie, the villains are kind of narrowed down to Russians, and that's about all the substance you get on the villains. Still a really good movie, don't get me wrong. And the reason that they're such threatening villains is you see what happens to Chloe Grace Moretz's character because of them. And so you want them to all die, and they do so. But Pedro Pascal is just like a single guy, you know what I mean, who's like as corrupt as he is, and to me that's a little bit more threatening, and that's why I like the second one a little bit more. I don't know. And it's Pedro fucking Pascal. He's awesome. That makes sense. He's awesome. He does a good job in the movie, and yeah, I don't know, first one has amazing moments too, but it's strange to me because people hold those up like they do John Wick, you know what I mean, and like you would think they'd have better scores, you know, as the John Wick movies do.
Right.
Given John Wick, okay, they're better movies. They're better made. I can give it that. Like the action, clearly a lot more work goes into it, you know, with John Wick. But Equalizer is just as badass in a lot of ways, you know, because the difference between like John Wick and the Equalizer is like Equalizer's like calculated, you know what I mean, like he times, you know, himself, like he knows what moves he needs to make and the amount of time that he's doing it. He'll sneak up behind you, you know, he sets up booby traps. John Wick, no, he just fucking shoots you. Like,
he doesn't have time for games.
He don't care. Yeah, he's just going out there and he's killing everybody. Like, that's the difference. But they find themselves in somewhat similar situations, I guess is my point, you know, where they are killing for the better, for the good of things, you know what I mean, like they're heroes, you know what I mean. That was another thing I like about the second one is he gets this second Equalizer is like he gets this Denzel gets this whole relationship with this kid, and then like he's drawing a picture, I think, like throughout the whole movie or something like that, and it's like it's never finished, and then by the end of the movie it's like a superhero, you know what I mean, and Denzel's like, who's that, and he goes, it's you, you know. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. I love that, you know. So yeah, things like that. I don't know, that second Equalizer is underrated to me. Both Equalizers are underrated just because they both have rotten ass scores. Fuckers. Yeah, I hate critics sometimes.
I know.
I love critics.
Me too.
Yeah. But I hate critics. Like, we need them.
I know.
We need them because a lot of the times they're trustworthy. But then there's a lot of times that they're not. They're just assholes about things, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. How much you want to bet Cisco doesn't like A Quiet Place?
Oh, no, I think he'll like it.
You think so?
I think he'll at least like it. Yeah. I don't know if he'll like hate it. I don't think he's gonna hate it, but I also don't think he's gonna be like, I loved it, it was incredible. Like, I think he'll be like,
put it this way.
Yeah, he'll respect it, I think.
Put it this way. It's very likely that he'll enjoy it, I think, personally. But if anybody's gonna dislike it out of the three of us, it's gonna be him.
Sure. Yeah.
I could see that happening. Yeah.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Because, like, by all accounts, like, Army of the Dead did everything that he wanted it to do, and he still ended up not liking it. And he admits that, too. Right. Like, if you ever listen to his review he did on stereo of it, like, he pretty much admitted, like, it does have everything I wanted it to have, I just don't like Zack Snyder. It's like, okay, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Yeah. Like, he just doesn't like something about his style of movie making, you know? He's like, it had all the elements, it just didn't work for me. You know? Right. Like, all right. It's cool. At least he admits it, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. Have you watched that yet? Speaking of which, you should really watch that. Yeah, I think being a fan of the Snyder Cut, you'll like this. Yeah, because this is like good Zack Snyder. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not BVS Zack Snyder. This is like really like it's peak. You know what I mean? It's I don't know which one. I think I like Justice League better a little bit just because of it's the Justice League, you know. But this is for an original story. This is still really good, you know. It's like it has that like those crazy ass elements. And the other thing you'll like about Army of the Dead is he actually uses slow-mo properly. It's not like he's throwing it out there in moments that I don't think you'll like the way he uses slow-mo in Army of the Dead. It's used a lot, but it's used well, you know what I mean? It's like I felt like it was utilized better in Army of the Dead than it was in Justice League. Like, it's cool. It's a great movie. I loved Army of the Dead quite a bit. Yeah, Cisco disagrees, but that's all right. It's fair. He tends to disagree with me. Yeah. What was the other Oh yeah, he told me also he was gonna watch Friends now, apparently, because
oh, nice. Did he watch the reunion?
Well, he wants to watch the reunion, in which case he has to watch
nice.
Friends first.
Right.
So he's telling me he's thinking about watching Friends, but he said the last time he tried to do it, HBO Max crashed on him or something. So he's thinking it's a sign maybe he shouldn't watch Friends. But I actually think he'll like Friends. Yeah. I think he might like it.
I think he might like Friends too, actually. Yeah.
But again, if any of the three of us don't like it, it's gonna be him.
Right.
For sure. No, he might like Friends. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It could go either way. We will see.
Good show. Great show.
Great show, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Hugh Jackman's got a new movie coming out, doesn't he? Something along the lines of
yeah, I saw a commercial for that actually.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. The reciprocity or something.
Yeah, it's something along those lines. I didn't even watch the trailer. I just kind of saw it like advertised. I'll get around to it.
I know, literally same. I was just watching TV and I saw a commercial for it and I was like, oh, okay, I guess Hugh Jackman's in a movie.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. He sneaks up on you, Hugh Jackman. You don't expect him to show up in a movie that whole year. Yeah. And then he'll sneak up on you. He'll be like,
right.
Yeah, like what was the one last year that came out on HBO? It was Bad Education. With him and Ray Romano was in that.
Right.
And, somebody else. I think Lisa Kudrow was in that for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting the wrong actress. Was it Lisa Kudrow? I
don't remember.
Do you know the movie I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember though if Lisa Kudrow was in it.
I had never watched it either, but everybody tells me it's like Bad Teacher, but how Bad Teacher was supposed to be. Remember that Cameron Diaz movie, that terrible comedy?
Yeah, I remember. I didn't hate it.
Really?
I remember I only saw it once and I was like 13 or something, so I was a small child still, but I didn't hate it.
I remember, here's the thing I'll say about Bad Teacher. I remember having laughable moments. The last time I watched it anyway. Because I think the first time I watched it, I was with you. I was like, I didn't really hate that. I didn't love it, but I didn't really hate it. And then I think the last time I watched it, I was like, okay, this movie's not that great. But when Jason Segel comes into it, it gets really good. Like he's actually like the saving grace in my opinion in that movie, because when he gets into it, he's funny. He's definitely delivering the laughs. But for the most part, that movie's not funny in my opinion. Right. It's very poor, I would say. But hey, if you liked it, you liked it. Yeah. I'm not gonna take that away from you.
Didn't hate it.
Yeah, and then they did that follow up to that. It's the same director, Sex Tape, and that movie fucking tanked.
That is them. That's right.
Jason Segel and
Cameron Diaz. Right.
Yeah, they regret that, I'm sure, because nobody.
I didn't see it, but it was bad.
I really don't think anybody liked that movie. Like I genuinely feel like
it's not remembered well.
No, and he needs to do another Muppets movie.
Oh my God, go back to your roots, Jason. Yeah. Do another Muppet movie, please.
Yeah.
I'm begging you.
Yeah. Although
sorry, I keep yawning. I'm like,
you're fine.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm yawning, but I'm not tired. Like I feel like I'm sleepy, but not tired. In that state.
That's good.
So I'm still mentally here.
No, that last movie, nobody saw this thing, but the people that did reviewed it pretty highly. Our Friend with him and Casey Affleck that just came out in February or something. It got like rave reviews. Apparently Jason Segel's great. Like he does a great job, and it's him, Casey Affleck, and Dakota Johnson. I still need to watch it. It's looked really good for sure. So I'm gonna check it out. People seem to be down on Casey Affleck these days. Because he's had his allegations. Yeah, but he's still working. We haven't canceled him yet, so he's hanging on by a thread. So good for him, I guess. I don't know what he did or what he was accused of doing. I don't know exactly either. I'm not sure. Just I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember. Yeah. I mean, frankly, I feel like not good. I feel like it wasn't good. No, but I feel like if he hasn't been canceled, then he probably didn't do it yet, right? Like it's probably not that. Or it hasn't been proven. Right, because it doesn't even need to be proven half the time anymore. Right. Typically it's you get accused and you're done. So the fact that he's still working must mean. I don't know. Woody Allen's still working. Still making movies. Not now. Not in America, but he is. Oh, is he? He does. Yeah. Still doing movies, huh? He is, in mainly in like Europe. Okay. Yeah, it's just not released in America.
is the thing.
I mean, Kevin Spacey's still making YouTube videos, but that's not like, you know what I mean?
Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
Different. Literally, like, Kevin Spacey's gonna murder someone one day and be like, Frank did it. Here's evidence. I've been planning this for 3 years.
Yeah.
That is the energy all of those videos give off.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
they literally are like, I'm gonna commit a crime soon, so I'm covering my tracks now. That's the vibe. It's horrifying.
I think he already killed people. He already murdered
or he already did. Yeah.
Like it's crazy. He's like a nuts.
Yeah.
He's an absolute nut.
Yeah, no, he's crazy.
And I think he has a separate personality there that's like doing the work.
I know. I think so too.
Yeah. Who's filming these for him? That's why I'm always curious.
Right. About. Who's filming? Is it just him?
It's not
Does he edit these on his own?
It can't be him. There's no way. These things are too well produced. There's a whole crew over there coming to his house.
Maybe they're produced, but that's true. It probably is a whole thing. Because I was like, maybe he did, the Bo Burnham thing and just bought lights, learned how to use them, bought a camera, learned how to use it, figured it out.
Possibly.
But I don't know if Kevin Spacey goes to those lengths.
Yeah.
Goes to that kind of length.
I don't know. They look really good. I can't deny can't deny the production value on them as much as they scare the shit out of me. Yeah,
it's probably a crew. Yeah.
Oh man.
No, literally same.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Apparently, he got cast in another movie though, Kevin Spacey. So he is going to work again. That's what I hear.
All right.
I don't know who will see it, but it's happening.
But it's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's probably like a $600 student film or something to watch.
Oh my god, that would be so funny. He pops in and like an NYU student's final project for the year. They're just like, yo, is that Kevin Spacey in your movie, bro? And they're like, he did it for $600. I don't know.
Hey, they will get a good performance though. They'll get an A+.
Honestly, and he showed up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, 100%.
They'll get a good performance. I don't deny that. He is one of the best actors of all time. I hate to give him that credit, but it's a fact. They will get a outstanding performance from him.
Yeah, he probably showed up. Right.
Yeah. All right, you want to get into some news? We could start this, I guess. We don't have a lot, but
yeah, I know, not much, but we'll talk about the couple we have.
Great.
So first thing, our main story, is just that, so there is going to be a miniseries coming out on Paramount Plus about the making of The Godfather called The Offer, and it was originally starring Armie Hammer as the producer of The Godfather. What is his name? Al Ruddy was his name. But he has now been replaced by Miles Teller. And this is, of course, amid his sexual assault allegations and some major criminal activity allegations that came out earlier this year. I don't know much about this. I'm not a big Godfather fan. I'm just kind of like, cool. Get the problematic person out of there, hire someone new, moving on. Cool.
Yeah, speaking of people that don't work anymore, no, right. I mean, Miles Teller is a phenomenal actor. I'm interested to see whatever he wants to do, considering he doesn't do much anymore. It doesn't seem like Miles Teller. It seems like he's I don't know. It seems like he's waiting for Top Gun to come out before he works again. I don't know why that is. I think he can get hired for a lot of different roles. So I was very happy to hear that he's getting hired for something, because he deserves to work. All his movies as of late have been great. Everything that he's been in has been pretty awesome. As far as the Armie Hammer thing goes, sounds like he's just kind of getting fired left and right here, so that's interesting as well. The last project he stepped down from, because I think which that might have been like a PR thing, what I mean?
I saw also a thing on Twitter of someone being like posting I don't know how long ago this was announced, but the Call Me By Your Name sequel was supposed to happen, but it has now been just canceled. It's just not happening. They're not recasting anything. It's just not happening now.
Yeah.
And the caption was a happy pride. I love that because I do really like the movie, and I read the book as well of Call Me by Your Name. I do really like it, but I understand that it's one of those things about gay people that is made for straight people. You know what I mean? There are certain things that are made by a certain community for a certain community, and there are things that are not.
Yeah.
And I recognize where Call Me by Your Name stands in that, but nonetheless, I do still really like the movie. But also I'm like, whatever, cancel it. If it requires a problematic person, then cancel it. It doesn't need to happen then.
Well, it just doesn't help the cannibalism case when Armie Hammer's version of acting gay is looking at Timothy Chalamet like he's a delicious meal. But
I know, like the longing looks take a whole nother service now.
I don't want to get too involved in this controversy or anything because I don't know Armie Hammer. He could be a wonderful fella. I don't know, but I'm just telling you,
could be an awful fella.
It doesn't help when we
don't know.
When you turn in that kind of performance where you come off that creepy, it doesn't help. But that said, as far as the series goes, The Offer, right, is the name of it, which is about the making of The Godfather. I think this could be very interesting. I hope that, I know that they said Teller is going to be the lead as the producer, Al Ruddy, but I hope that they dive into the direction and everything too. Like I want to see Francis Ford Coppola, somebody better come in and play him, and make that happen, because I think that that's also an interesting story to be told there. I remember, I think it was AMC that aired this like 3-part documentary of the making of the Godfather. It was like a 6-hour deal, and it was so good. So there is a story to tell here, trust me. I think it could be really, really awesome, and it really does have one of the best like behind the scenes stories of all time. Like, have you seen behind the scenes stuff on Star Wars, right? I mean, behind the scenes of Godfather is just as good. It really is, and I think that this is something that a lot of people will tune into. I remember that one, again, documentary that aired on TV a while back was a big deal when it happened, or like when it came out. It was very popular, and so to see that all kind of play out on screen, there's a lot of story to tell. So I'm excited to see this, and it sounds like it could be pretty good. I'm sure Miles Teller will knock it out of the park. He's a very good actor. Everything he does, he's great in. At least if the movie's not good, he's still great. But again, as far as Armie Hammer goes too, I mean, the other question on my mind is what's going to happen to Death on the Nile? Is this thing ever going to get released? Because it's done, he's in it, but like, is this going to stop people from going to see it? I think that there's a lot of talented people that are a part of that movie. I would feel very bad for if they let one bad apple spoil the whole bunch on, because there's a lot of very talented, really hardworking actors in there. Gal Gadot, for example, Kenneth Branagh, who plays his role very well. So, and is also directing that film. And I'm a big fan of his. So I think that, it's got a great ensemble that, I hope people don't just like say, oh, we're not watching that now because Armie Hammer's canceled. It's like, no, I think you should check it out, because it might be good, and I want to see more of these goddamn things too. I'm one of the few that was a big fan of That Murder on the Orient Express. I thought it was a really good first movie, and I want to see more of Kenneth Branagh playing Poirot. I think Poirot. I can't roll my R's. But I think
Hercule Poirot.
Poirot. I think he does well in the role anyway, and I want to see more of him. So I hope that this isn't like a sign of what's to come for that movie. So I don't know. It's finished. I think they should put it out, and we'll see what happens.
I think so too.
Anyway, what's next?
We'll see. So next we have Marvel just pushing back a couple of its future projects. We don't have these projects don't have names yet. It's just upcoming Marvel live action film. But one that was originally scheduled for October 7th, 2022 is now pushed back to October 6th, 2023. And then another one, which was just pushed back a week, the second one, November 3rd, 2023, is now going to be November 10th, 2023. There's some speculation that the October one may or may not be Blade, starring Mahershala Ali. But that's really it. It's just being pushed back. And most of the time when they're being pushed back, I mean, sometimes it is for an issue or something that's happening, but most of the time it's just because they need more time. Like, they could use the extra time. so they do it. It's effects or schedules or whatever, they just need the time, or filming or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, this is probably a good thing. Could be a bad thing, but I feel like it's most likely one of the good things. You know?
I don't know. I mean, it's refreshing to hear a pushback story. First of all, it's not being pushed because of COVID, so
Right.
That's refreshing. So I'll say
it's not COVID related, exactly.
Doesn't seem to be anyway. You know, I don't think that this really means much of anything. I saw some people online making like a massive deal about this, and then like I don't think it really means much of anything. It's one of the reasons I was really anxious to bring this one up today, because people are making a big deal out of it. Like, oh, Marvel's going under. What the fuck? It's why when anything happens,
I hate
it's
that.
Like, stop, shut up, calm down.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. You know, this is normal. It's just because comicbook.com ran it, you hear about it now. You know, but this happens more than you think. And then it's like, yeah, I don't know. We don't even know the names of the movies. That's the thing.
Right.
That's why it's like, calm down, people, you know, because we don't even know what they are. We don't know why. It could be a billion billion reasons. There's no problems, probably. I'm sure it's just a thing of they are kind of adapting as things go, because you know they have to look at competitors. You know, that's one of the things people don't realize about, you know, the way that schedules go, is they have to look at like their competitors. What else is coming out? Exactly. And they know it before we do as people, you know what I mean? We won't know it till about next year what's going to happen and what date, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they have the more up-to-date information
exactly
than we ever could.
To me, this sounds like they're remaining competitive, pushing 2 of their movies. They're probably there could be a couple Star Wars movies coming on those days, who knows, you know what I mean? And Disney was like, oh, you know, can we, you know, shift this around? Who knows, you know, it could be something along those lines, or something else big that they're wanting to do, you know. But it just, whatever the case, people need to calm down. It's just a competitive thing. That's all. I guarantee it. It's something else is coming around, so let's move it. Or, like Samee said, it could be script rewrites or something along those lines, which, if that's the case, that's also fine. That's a lot of making these movies is back and forth, you know, between Feige, the creator, you know what I mean? And it's just going to take a little bit more time than they originally planned. But that doesn't mean that anybody's in trouble. People don't lose their jobs, you know, for, you know, having to do script rewrites. People lose their jobs if they don't follow the rules and do the rewrites, you know. So this isn't something that's a crisis, or, you know, it's not absolute chaos over at Marvel like people like to say. It's fine. It just means that, you know, they're just re-strategizing and keeping up with the times, I guess, and just seeing what's going on in the industry and going by that. Not a big deal. Anyway, I wanted to calm people down, because I saw this whole thread on this story, and I was like, oh my gosh, why are you guys going insane? You don't even know what movies these are. And a lot of people did say, oh, I bet you it's Blade. You know, I bet you Blade's never going to come out. It's like, okay, first of all, when they announced Mahershala to Blade, they never announced the date for it at that time. Exactly. The second thing is this. It was the last thing that they announced that day on the slate, and we're not even through fucking phase 4 yet. You know what I mean? But they were talking about this is 2023. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We haven't even started phase 4 yet, to get technical, unless we're talking WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier. Then yes, we've started phase 4 in the TV side, but we've never started it movie wise yet. So like, people need to chill. Blade is probably going to be a phase 5, phase 6 movie. It makes sense that it would come out, even if this is a, you know what I mean? It would come out in 2023, 2024. It's not going to come out tomorrow. I hate to break it to everybody, but Blade is still probably going to happen. Mahershala probably signed a pretty sweet deal. If it doesn't happen, then it's not, I don't know. We'll find out things as we find out. But right now, there's no reason to panic or freak out or say that there's a crisis. So, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, exactly. So next up, we have the new trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's new movie, Old. This is pretty wild. When I saw A Quiet Place Part 2 in theaters, this was one of the trailers that played, and it kind of hit me while I was watching it. I'd seen the trailer already, but when I was watching it, I was like, this just seems to me like the perfect teenage date movie of like our dreams. Like, this is the this is the movie every teenager wishes they're going to see. This is the movie they all want the movie they're going to see to be.
Yeah.
They just like, teenagers just want to sit there and go like, what the fuck, bro? That was fucked up. Yeah. Like, whoa, that was insane, and kind of turn their brain off for a moment, but also still totally be able to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And have a great time.
Yeah.
And also have like a twist where they're like, whoa, can you believe that? You have to see, did you see, oh, did we talk about that twist?
Yeah.
That type of thing. And all of that saying, I think this movie's going to be very successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm interested enough. The premise does seem kind of wild. The acting did not look great in the trailer, but like, do I want to see it? Am I intrigued? Yeah. Kind of.
I mean, I don't know. When I was watching it, it felt like Shyamalan acting. You know what I mean? He has this like certain style of acting in his movies, and this is how it felt. It just felt like it fits with him and his vision. Yeah, no, I think it'll be fun. I think that there's going to be something to this. I'm sure that there's more to, as weird as it looks, you know, I'm sure there's more to it. The Shyamalan is in a position now where he seems to have gotten himself back enough to where he's just going to be extremely original, and we're just going to have to accept that. And it doesn't mean everybody needs to go see it. I'm just saying that it just means that this is the type of thing Shyamalan's going to make. And if you are a fan of his, you'll go see it, and it's going to be just as weird, and you're going to know it's weird, and you're going to be okay that it's weird for the most part, I think, because if you're like myself anyway, I'm ready to see his original stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want him to go back and adapt like Last Airbender and shit like that. You know what I mean? I want him to keep working on original stuff, and I was happy to see that this was original. Am I like overly stoked for this movie? No. I'm a massive Shyamalan fan, but this is not like one of my most anticipated. This premise looks ridiculous. Like I can admit that, even being a fan.
Yeah.
It looks overly ridiculous.
It's predictable too, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, so they're all just gonna, kind of slowly die. One of them, the kids probably are gonna have to, the kids will probably survive because they'll probably have to fix something, but you're just like, I know it's gonna happen. Like, there'll probably be a twist or something, but it's,
and that's
we're not gonna get a Sixth Sense level twist again.
Maybe not, but like I said, just knowing Shyamalan, there's going to be more to it on some level, though. You know what I mean? On some level, there's going to be more to it. I fully expect that. Right. And maybe, who knows? Maybe it is surprising to the point where it is the next Sixth Sense. You just don't know with Shyamalan. He's kind of a wild card. That'd like be cool. That. So that's, to me, I'm not
open to it.
I don't expect that, but it could be, Actually, to me, his best twist was Unbreakable. I think that Unbreakable is the best film still. I that's my personal opinion. I like Unbreakable a little more than Sixth Sense, but you should watch it.
Yeah. I know. It's at the top. It's with John Wick at like the very top of the list.
Yeah, it's quite a masterpiece, that's for sure. But anyway, so I just know there's going to be more to it than what's being shown on the surface, I guess is the point. On the same hand, even though I'm a massive Shyamalan fan, this is not one of my most anticipated. I got to be honest. This premise is a little out there, that's for sure. But that could be good. That could be great. We'll see. Shyamalan he has a great mind. There's no denying that. And, the other thing, like you said, Sammy, it will probably be successful. There's one thing Shyamalan's managed to do throughout his career, to make money. He has made money. His movies are massively successful.
I think a lot of people are going to want to see this movie.
Yeah. And, his trailers have always done a great job of getting the hook in. It's at least got your curiosity, so you're like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. So, it's a great trailer for that reason. But is it one of my more anticipated? Nah. Not really. Yeah. I love Shyamalan, but no, not really. Not this one. This one looks like it might not be for me, but we'll see. It could be. Like I said, I just don't know what we're gonna get with this. So, anyway, Sammy.
So this is our last piece of news for the day. But Nickelodeon is officially showing footage from their new sitcom, The Patrick Star Show, which is a spin-off of SpongeBob SquarePants, of course. So it's the official thing.
And she's gone.
Family, as they are constantly disrupted by Patrick's wild. Oh, did I freeze?
You did for a second.
You're back.
You're back.
Yeah. Okay,
keep going.
So the Patrick Star Show is about Patrick Star and his family as they are constantly disrupted by Patrick's wild whims and surreal imagination, especially when the titular starfish takes to hosting a variety show for the neighborhood from his bedroom.
Yeah.
Official plot. That sounds pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I can't say that like I'm gonna run to watch it and I'm gonna watch every episode and keep up with it. But it sounds pretty cool. I'm not mad that it exists. It looks pretty cute.
Yeah, let me tell you something. This was made for me. I'll tell you, somebody was listening to my childhood self or my 6-year-old self or whatever the show came out in my days. I don't remember. Maybe it was like 9 or 10.
In like the late 90s.
I was probably like 9 or 10.
97 something.
9 or 10 or somewhere around there. Right. Somebody was listening to that version of myself because I love SpongeBob SquarePants the show. I hate SpongeBob SquarePants the character, though. I like everything else about that show. Patrick is my favorite character in the whole thing. So somebody was listening to me.
Squidward for me.
I love Squidward as well. The whole dynamic between Squidward and Patrick and
everyone. Yeah.
But I think that the SpongeBob SquarePants character is annoying as hell. I do not like the character as much as I enjoyed the show, because there were so many other great things about it, and the premises were fun, and yeah. So somebody was definitely listening to me here, and they said, let's greenlight the Patrick show. You don't need SpongeBob, make Patrick. Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I like the Patrick character. I think that there's just something to watching this idiot try to get through the day. So I think that's it's going to be great. It's great for kids to have as well. Like, I'm glad that they're going to have something like this to grow up on the same way I had SpongeBob. It was on a lot at my house, so yeah, I think that this will be really, really cool for them, and I'm glad that the next generation gets to have it. It's awesome, in that way. And it's just good news. There's nothing bad about this news. It's just good news all around. You know what I mean? I like when we have news that's just purely good. There's nothing like I can nitpick about it. It sounds good,
Right.
Even if I don't watch it every day, it sounds good. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's going to be fun for the people that will be tuning into it, and a good move on Nickelodeon's part. You know what I mean? SpongeBob SquarePants is one of their biggest properties, so yeah, make more of it. But I know that the movies didn't do as well as they'd hoped, a couple of them. So
the first one's incredible. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
it informed my my humor, and like my sense of humor is the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Fair enough. But I think that the last two, or maybe it was the last one or whatever, that didn't do well. I know that they haven't done well with them. Yeah. So either way, this is good news.
I know that. Yeah.
I think it's smart. Yeah. It's smart. It sounds good. I mean, if you keep it like the way that it was intended to be, or like you keep that tone of the Patrick character, and just make it simple and make it just let's watch this idiot get through the day, or try to get through the day, and that was always kind of the fun.
Interview some people. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, it sounds like fun. I think it's gonna be cool. I'll watch some of it for sure, at least. I don't know. I don't have all the time on my hands that I used to put on SpongeBob SquarePants. Sorry, kids.
Yeah.
But I think that it still sounds fun, and I'm excited for the people that are going to be tuning into it. So yeah,
no, me too.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add on this?
No, just excited for it.
Yeah.
Right. Same. Happy it exists.
Yeah.
Not mad at all.
All right. Wonderful. All right. So yeah, that'll do it, guys. We're going to get out of here. So I want to thank everybody for joining, tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. Real quick, we do have a merch store, merch.streamelements.com/Anorak. Make sure you go over there and check that out. I hear the shirts are very comfortable, so that's very great. I've gotten good reviews on that. And then also over here, streamelements.com/Anorak/tip. You can send us a tip, and we can read your tip out on the show if you want your message played out in video form. If you don't, it's all good. We're not going to force you to do that to talk to us. You can also send us messages on stereo, which we are both on, at Don Martino, at Samee Ramirez. Make sure you follow us there. We've been having some fun shows with a lot of guests, and that's been pretty cool. Glad that feature got added over there to where we can do that now, meet a lot of really great people, and it's been fun to talk to you guys that way. Also, you can make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit that bell for notifications, and yeah, Samee, where can people find you before we go?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at Samee Ramirez 14, Twitter at Samee Ramirez, and then every Monday night doing movie night here, right here on this channel, doing our spoiler reviews. We have one of A Quiet Place Part 2 already up. Go check that out. And yeah, every Monday.
Yeah, make sure you follow the Anorak socials as well. Anorak's official on both Twitter and Instagram, and also we are on Spotify now. Make sure you go check that out. Follow us there, rate and review. Yeah, guys, and you can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ and on Twitter or on Instagram Dom_Martino_ official. Make sure you do follow me there. I may have a big announcement coming up here sometime within the year, so make sure you guys follow
within
me
the next
for
6 months.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a big maybe. I'm not trying to say too much because there's something. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we're going to get out of here, guys. So definitely make sure you do all the things we asked. And yeah. Thank you for joining again. It's been great. Everybody have a good night. Later.